What is going on, everyone? Tim from Tierfon Orbital. So, not your run-of-the-mill hilt discussion, install, demo for today, right? This hilt, I've never seen anything like this hilt before. And that's a compliment. This is a super unique hilt. It is based off of I hope I'm getting that correct. F's hilt from Star Wars Visions. So this was done by my buddy Adam over at Kennedy Custom Props. Adam is a sabersmith out of the UK. He does some really fantastic, unique, handmade hilts. If you have not checked him out, you definitely should. But this was at the request of a customer. Somebody reached out to Adam and asked for this hilt to be made. I have not yet seen any of these hilts been made into like a production run by any of the saber companies. So I was very excited to get this installed and to design a chassis for it, because I knew that it would not be my run-of-the-mill chassis install. And I love engineering solutions for unique hilts such as this, right? So obviously we don't have a circular grip in this hilt. It is it's almost like a 2x4, but yeah, so not a circular chassis in this one. I had to go with like a rectangular sized chassis, right? So excuse me, and I had to also figure out power solution and all that. So I do want to come into Fusion and talk about the chassis, and then we will come up top, do a quick demo. There is something very special about this hilt as well, about this install that we will talk about, that I'm really happy that I was able to achieve. So one of the things that I really wanted to get done was a cool external like Neopixel reveal on this. So we'll talk about that when we do the demo. But yeah, I really had a lot of fun doing this install. So let's come into Fusion and talk about this chassis. Okay, so here it is, the rectangular So I don't know if you can see the file name, Kennedy Custom Props Rectangle. But yeah, this is based on F's hilt from the episode of Star Wars Visions. So not a circular chassis. So I had to do things a little bit different, right? There are routed channels or holes in the grip of this hilt to allow for sound venting. So there is a side mounted speaker. One of the things that I was happy that we were able to do is get a 28mm speaker in this hilt, and it sounds great. This is a nice loud hilt, okay? The thickness that I had to go with for this chassis would not accept an 18650 battery. It would have just been a little, like a hair too big. So instead, I went with a 16650 battery, which is just fine. It's just a little bit thinner in diameter than an 18650. So that is where the battery sits. Here's our battery tray. Here is our speaker compartment. So I had to get a little bit unique with my wire channels, right? So the negative battery tab for this comes into the speaker compartment, and then I've got a channel that goes all the way up the back of this, kind of tilted a little bit to get up into the board compartment, right? And that is for my speaker leads, my negative battery lead, and then my 2 leads for my kill switch, right? Kill switch is here. Proffie board sits in this cavity, okay? I did slap one greebly on this. So another thing, unfortunately, with this one, I didn't have a lot of room to get greebly heavy with everything, so I kept it nice and simple, right? One single greebly on the side here. Proffie board is here. It will tuck up underneath this lip, and these forks will help secure it into place. This is just a decorative hole that I put in the chassis just to kind of go in line with the outer aesthetics or the outer look of the hilt itself. And then that is it, right? In the upper part of the hilt, there were 2 pieces of all thread with some hex bolts. That is what helps to secure this chassis in place, right? So it slides up into that all thread, and then it is held, it's just epoxied into place, right? There is a cavity here to help with some of my wire management, right? I do have some splicing going on the inside of here, but that's it. Out of the box chassis design, right? Another thing that I had to get a little interesting, like with my my channels for my wire management, right? So I couldn't continue this hole all the way up because there's that all thread there. But then it kind of comes up to that all thread and then kinks over and comes into this channel or that cavity there, right? But that's it. Happy with how that one came out. Let's come up top. All right, so here it is, the F's hilt from Star Wars Visions, made by Kennedy Custom Props. So there is a lot to appreciate about a hilt like this, right? So you can't, obviously, so you can't turn this on a lathe because it's rectangular. So all this has been milled out of a solid block of aluminum by Adam over at Kennedy Custom Props. And then Adam had it powder coated by KR Sabers, I believe, over there in the UK, right? But yeah, really, really, really unique looking hilt, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and take this grip off. I know that I already have a battery in this, but I want to take the grip off and show you the process of taking or putting a battery in. There is a set screw here that will secure the grip in place. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and slide this grip off. Here's the chassis. Simple chassis. Not your run-of-the-mill chassis, that's for sure. Not circular like I'm always used to. I live in tubes, right? But that's it. Very, very simple and easy. So here is that 18650 battery, or 16650 rather. I will go ahead and ship this with this install to you, the customer, so you don't need to purchase one. However, you will need to purchase a battery charger. Any kind of 18650 battery charger from Amazon will be fine. These are typically like... yeah, they can be found on Amazon, right? They're like $15 or $8. But you will be charging this externally, okay? The flat part of this battery will go down towards the spring, okay? So down towards that speaker. You can go ahead and hit your kill switch.
Now
all right. So there is that reveal that I was talking about, right? So one of the things that I really wanted to get incorporated into this install was this ring around the Tsuba here. I believe in the show this is lit. So Adam, I did have a couple of discussions with Adam while he was making this. So he routed a channel that was big enough to get a 2020 Neopixel strip, and then over that I just designed a simple resin like lens that goes around it. So it's two parts in resin, and they just kind of clamshell over that 2020 Neopixel strip, right? So that's it. Here's your Proffie board, kill switch, 28mm speaker. Once you get your battery in, you want to go ahead and not thread, you're not threading this. You want to slide your grip on, and then you can put that set screw in place to secure the grip in, right? There we go. So I tried to switch up that animation.
Hello, Master.
With each font.
It's been a while.
Okay. All right. And that's it. So let's come down to the bottom. All right. So there it is. Really, really interesting look on the external like that. This is a loud hilt. Okay. Let's go ahead and get a blade in it. So this will take a 7/8 inch Neopixel blade, right? There is a set screw around front here that will serve as your blade retention. One of the things I did notice is that this emitter is super, super tight. All right. So you want to kind of rest your blade. You're not going to rest your blade. You really got to put your blade in there. So it's on those PCB pins, and then you can tighten that front set screw just so it's hugging the blade, right? And then you are ready to go. Such an interesting feeling hilt. Nice and loud. Okay, let's see what else we got on here. So as far as Proffie board navigation is concerned, right? This is a single button Proffie setup, right? So to scroll through your fonts, you want to long press of that main button and release.
Hello, Master.
And that will scroll through your fonts. While the blade is pointed up, it will scroll forward in your font selection. If you go back down, it will go backwards in your font selection, right? Single tap of that power button will turn the hilt on. This has also been set up with twist to activate, twist to deactivate, right? So you can turn it on and off with a flick of your wrist, okay? You can simulate blaster bolts with a single press of that main button. This has also been set up with color wheel, right? So if you press this button 4 times, you will get into color wheel or color change menu. Then you rotate your hilt.
Orange, red, dark orange.
To find a color that you like.
Gold, yellow, green, yellow.
And then when you find a color you like, tap that main button again, and it will lock that color into place, okay? This battery is a little it's dying. So one of the things with Proffie board, if you start to hear your speaker getting a little bit crackly, it's likely because the battery is dying. Yeah. Let's go with one more. So there's that that Tsuba animation. Really wanted to get that incorporated into the hilt. Yeah, this battery's going. Unfortunately, I don't have any more. Okay, so that's it. That's the F from Kennedy Custom Props. Really awesome, unique looking hilt, right? Based on F's hilt from Star Wars Visions. So, to the customer, thank you very much for trusting me with your install. If anyone has any questions about this particular install or anything really, please do not be a stranger to the customer. I will be getting this in the mail to you after I charge that battery for you, of course. I should have been more prepared, but unfortunately, these things happen, right? So, anyhow, that's all I got. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. May the force be with you always. Have a good one.